piggyback on something that Tony said, today I started making calls to the neighborhoods and to the council people about we're expanding our efforts statewide, but we're also expanding our efforts in our neighborhoods. So we're trying to staff, well, I'm trying to staff someone who can travel around the city of Cleveland and do intake for people who need the assistance, who might not necessarily want to come to ESOP's office, or as we go statewide, we're bombarded right now. So anything that can ease the pressure off of the staff that we have in office, I figured it may be easier to come into your neighborhood and do intake for people in your neighborhood, right there in your neighborhood. And maybe if you know someone who's got office space, all we really need is a desk, because we got cell phones and computers and well, we need Wi-Fi, but you know, something that we could use and come to your neighborhood and do the intake right there. Maybe 4 or 5 people. We can help people right there on the spot. So I just started that process today. Mark is up in arms about it, but I don't care because Cleveland is my office, so I need to streamline.
Don't wait until the house is empty. I mean, you can get through NeoCan't do it, any of the website, you can get all the delinquent properties that are significantly delinquent. You can really sort through that, and we should be mailing directly to them. We should be notifying our residents and knocking on their doors, because the next thing you know, the house is going to be empty. And like Jim said, from Rocky River, he's got 3 houses empty right around him, where people walked away and they were ashamed to deal with the problem. And it's tough. You got to drag people out and say, deal with it. We can help you. We can restructure the loan, and there's plenty of tools available. So I think being very aggressive on it is the only way to go now.
Questions? Question in the back?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. You're talking about going into the neighborhoods. How about if you set up sort of like a forum at the ward club meetings to come and host a ward club meeting maybe, and have people come in so that the neighbors in that hood know that they can come into the ward club meeting and sign up for ESOP if they need to. Maybe they're more comfortable in their own ward, in their ward club meeting, doing that. And if you can just visit all of the neighborhoods that way, rather than setting up a separate office, visit the ward clubs.
Well, what that is a precursor, actually. We do that already. But in order to get an appointment with us, we actually need an appointment so that we know who we're dealing with and what information that we need to bring with us. But yeah, we do that as well. But what I'm talking about is the counseling piece, the combing through the financials. What can you afford? Okay, let me get this over the city and get this foreclosure stopped. That's what I'm talking about. And it wouldn't be somebody who's just staffed there on a regular basis. It would be somebody who travels and they can use the desk maybe once a week for 4 hours out of the day and be able to do that. So, but yeah, we do that as well, and we do send staff out for those events as well. But what I'm looking at doing is something more on a counseling basis right there in the neighborhood, because a lot of people, some people don't even drive. You know, Mount Pleasant Community Zone just funded us to come in and man somebody there on a regular basis twice a week. And we just decided to expand that because there are people in that neighborhood don't go out of the neighborhood.
Right.
So that is the point of getting someone to travel around in the neighborhoods. I've already talked to Slavic Village Development. I didn't think it would be that easy, and she was just like, "Oh, Sam, yeah, sure." I'm like, "Okay, bye." You know, I didn't know it would be that easy, but honestly, it really should be that easy because we're just doing a service within your neighborhood. So.
Questions? Don?
Yeah. Lose my voice here. I have a question that hasn't really been raised here. We're all looking at the after effects and all the after things and how to solve them and so forth, but we need to also look at how to prevent this from occurring again. And I think one of the big things that's never really brought up is the fact that our real estate companies are one of the biggest drawdowns in this process. They're constantly showing people houses they know darn well they can't afford, but still can get a loan for them. They're always upping this and the high pressure sales to that matter. We need to get some type of legislation to hold these real estate companies ultimately responsible, because let's face it, they make a profit every time they sell the house. So if they sell it every 2-3 years again, they're making millions off of this stuff, and they are never held to that standard, we're getting after predatory lenders and whatnot, but we have predatory real estate companies. And until we start forcing them by some type of legislation where if the house forecloses within 3 to 5 years or something, they should still be held partially responsible for that. And that would stop them from showing houses, oh, you don't want this one, you should be able to get up to this one, and oh, you make enough that you can get into this. They know darn well they're on a shoestring budget to begin with, and then if something does happen like an emergency, boom, they're gone. So we need some of these advocacy groups to start promoting some of the prevention techniques to keep this from happening again and really place people where they really belong.
Well, actually, we covered that in our agreement. Of course, there aren't enough agreements, but we cover that in our agreements. And another piece to our agreements is a semi-annual meeting to see how things are going. Now, I don't know what that's called. What is that called? A semi-annual review of some sort. In fact, when we sat with Countrywide the first time, we came to Texas with a list of the realtors that we absolutely knew we did not like. We had heard their name in our hotspot cards. We told them, you know what, I don't know about these realtors. You may want to go back and rethink who you're using. And they came back to us a week later like, well, do you have a list of honest realtors? Fine. Again, it's the agreements that's the secret to our success, because we can call up the people that make the decisions and say to them, you made a bad decision here, and this is how we think you can fix it. And that they're actually listening, because once we get beyond the shark throwing and they realize that we're not just stupid idiots that are throwing sharks, that we actually have something that we are trying to accomplish here that is actually on the same page as them, then we can start talking about how to better the neighborhood and neighborhood life. So.
I'll just give you a quick example of this whole thing. The city of Bedford has taken over 11 HUD houses and several other foreclosed houses that we've gone in, fixed them up, and selling. Well, the city's selling them independently. And we've got real estate companies calling us daily, really upset that we're not using a real estate company to sell these houses so they can make a profit off of the hard work that we did to try to save our neighborhoods. So they're still leeching.
Okay, we're gonna just take a couple more questions. Steve?
I have a question that's a little different, I haven't heard.